It's still the economy today, and today we want to look at developing an idea for investment. I'm sure this sounds very strange because a lot of people, what they do out there is that they see an investment or they see a project or they see something, someone doing it somewhere else, and then they feel they can do it some other persons. But again, you have to develop an idea to do that, and there are processes. And today we want to discuss with somebody who is in that line, though not who has not been practicing in this country, just practicing in this country right now, but who have been practicing in a more developed country. And he is going to give us insights on what people should be doing when it comes to investments. That's David Lanre Messon. He is an angel investor and also a venture building, that's a venture builder. Yes, a venture builder.
Venture builder, yeah.
A venture builder.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
So David, first of all, welcome back to Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
Yes, now let us look at idea now, from the idea stage. What should the person be thinking when it comes to investment?
Okay, so the first things first when it comes to idea is that first we need to understand that ideas are very metalingual in nature, which means that no single person can own an idea. What makes an idea is when you have substantiated that idea with research data, market data in this situation, and most importantly to also get customer feedback in terms of the target, who exactly is going to be consuming this idea. We also have to understand the different journeys of, an idea, moving an idea to product and product becoming a company and on to the point where the product begins to experience some type of improvement here and there. But more realistically, when you talk about ideas, I think that it's important for business people or founders or entrepreneurs to look at idea first from the perspective of who the idea is targeting, who and what particular problem is that idea solving. So we cannot create ideas out of assumptions. You cannot make assumptions and think that, oh, I have an idea out of eureka or out of a whim, and as such, that idea is for a certain people. You don't talk to them. You do no research. You don't even have market data that sort of, validates that idea. And then you put that product out there thinking that you're just going to experience sales. It's not very possible. That's not very possible.
So people have to, first of all, do what is called research.
Yes. Well, let's categorize it as ideation.
Ideation.
Under ideation,
Okay.
we have the research, where you get to research to see if what problem. First of all, let's take it from under ideation, you look at problem. What problem is it solving? Because you have to create a solution for a problem. That's the first perspective, right? Now you go to the customer or your target customer and ask questions. We notice this problem about you. We observe this problem about you. And we see that a lot more other people are experiencing this problem. How do you think we can solve this problem for you? You understand? And I'll give you a very quick example. So there's a company in India. I love to use this example a lot, so I'll use it again. So there's a company in India called Chotokol. Chotokol is a leading refrigerator, manufacturing company. And they are in India, and they are market leaders at some point.
Okay.
But they realized that they are less than 20% of the market. And they are top, which also means that those who are behind them have lesser numbers compared to them. And there were about 3 in that category at that time. Then they realized that there is a chunk of the Indian population that are not using their refrigerators, and they needed to know why. And then they commissioned a number of employees to go do that research. So they combed the entire India and found out that more than half of the Indian population are peasant farmers. They spend most of their times on their farm.
So they don't even have a need for...
They don't have a need for refrigerator. However, they love to take cold water. But since there is no option or availability for that, they don't care because they are more concerned about their everyday business, which is farming. You get my point? Then they went into various firms asking questions. And while asking those questions, they found out that one, the peasant farmers have this clay pot at home where they put water, cover it till the next day, and it gets cold. You understand? They take this water to the farm and they're okay, they're cool, they do their work and it's all right. But then they also desire the fact that they need to drink an actual cold water. You understand what I'm saying? Then start asking them questions. Say, okay, so how do you think we want to create something that you can afford? Because we realize, because asking them questions, they say, your fridge, we can't afford it. It's expensive. Besides, it's too big. We don't need it. We don't even have electricity. Do you understand? I'm also for the fact that we don't spend time at home, so why do we even need that? We can't be sending people home all the time. That's some time value that we're going to be wasting. And they said, so how do you want the fridge to be manufactured for you? And then he said, okay, if you can create something that doesn't use light, you can create something that we can move from home to farm and farm back to the house. And most importantly, it should be very, very affordable, cheap. I said, okay, thank you for your feedback. Then he went back and did the prototype. Brought the prototype back. When they brought the prototype could use solar.
Wow.
One, it's actually very portable that you can move it from home to the farm and farm back to the house. And most importantly, it can actually cool water for you and also cool some fruits and veggies. You understand what I'm saying? Now, while doing that, they loved it. The farmers loved it. And they did not just only use it, they started using it to make sales, sell cold drinks in their stalls. Do you understand?
So it turned to another form of business.
Of course. So you see how it filtered from a market that they were looking at, peasant farmers, onto other people now seeing it as an opportunity to sell their product, which means that it was going to boost the economy. It's going to boost sales because people really want to take cold stuff. You understand what I'm saying? Now, what am I trying to validate here? You could see that during ideation, there was a question, there was a gap, but they needed to solve a problem. In solving that problem, they went to speak to the target, the actual person that the problem affects, the person with the pain points. Do you understand? And they converted that pain points into gain points, which then became that portable free and that portable product that now is being used by peasant farmers, stall owners, shop owners, market women, and all of that kind of stuff in the whole of India. And the market percentage of Chotoku shot up to over 86%. Now, what am I saying? During ideation, don't just think about it and make assumptions. This guy wouldn't have known that those guys would need a portable fridge that they could move around, and that would need solar, and most importantly, that can give them, an experience that they think that they don't need to spend so much on. If they had
I'm sorry to cut you here, but I want to ask a question now. Though I'm not, trying to scrutinize that fact, but what I'm saying is that research now. Does it have to come before? Does it come before or after the investments? Because that is what I just deduced from this.
Okay, so the reality is that the way investment is, which is why this takes us back to the government. I think government needs to begin to invest a lot in research and innovation. Particularly for those who are at the bottom of the pyramid who are trying to come up with ideas. And if you have research and innovation centers where you can have access to resources that will enable you to work on your idea, mold your idea into products that can now be invested in. And that's what we're trying to do at our venture studio. We are investing, at the bottom of the pyramid, at idea stage, where we pick your idea, we look at it, we look at the market opportunity, we look at data, and we now go into the market to ask questions from those who want to solve the problem for. You understand? And I think that a lot of people should begin to look at ideas more from a problem point. Don't just see an idea as an idea. Say either, I have an idea, but the next question you should be asking is, what problem is it going to solve? And who exactly does this problem affect? So can I go and talk to them? Because you can't build that solution when you haven't gone through that ideation process. Do you understand? So, and you may want to solve a problem, but it's important for you not to solve the problem based on assumptions. You need to solve this problem based on conversations, research, and data. And those data is what will now help you to build a solution that can last. And most importantly, building a solution that can last is what investors want to put a lot more money in. It's what you can scale, and it is what can command automatic demand. I often say that if you create a product that does not create automatic demand, then that's a problem. In strategy, we have what we call the push leg and the pull leg. When you build based on assumptions, you push to market. You spend a lot of money pushing. But when you build based on data and in-depth conversations with the markets, you pull the market to the product. Now look at those two case scenarios. Pushing product to market or pulling market to product. Which one do you think works best? In pulling market to your product, you become the magnet. You are not spending money. You're not making an effort. They come into you. You are going to spend little money to create maybe some sort of awareness. But the reality is that the market comes to you because truly it solves a problem that they are hungry about. They are willing to pay for, and they are willing to repeat that process in consuming that solution for themselves.
I'll come back to you. We'll go for a very short break now. I'll be right back with David Lanre. Welcome back. You're still on to the economy today, and we're discussing developing an idea for investments. And David Lanre, he has been giving me serious tidbits on this, and I'm sure a lot of you will love this very, very beautiful interview. So let's go to the market data. You understand me now? It's a concept that I think a lot of people may not understand. Maybe what they may understand by market data is probably, okay, the population of people who are going to buy it, or the scope of the whole thing, or whatever, this and that and that, and they may not understand it, the nitty-gritty in the market data, getting that done. So what exactly is a market data?
The reality is that market data is about numbers. It's about specific numbers in niches, in segments. And this sort of cut across what we call geography, demography, and psychography. And when you talk about market data, for a particular product that you've created, or a solution, or a problem that you're trying to solve, you need to be able to determine who exactly that solution or who exactly a problem is for. And in trying to determine that, there are already existing data that you have on one hand. And also for the fact that if you don't have market data, how would you know your competitors on one hand? How would you know where the market is actually more concentrated? How would you know their purchasing power? Because all of those things will inform pricing. It will inform the development of that product. It will also determine the kind of strategy you need to adopt in the execution of that product. For example, remember when MTN came out, they dominated the market.
Yeah.
Then Glo came out. Glo needed to dominate that market. It was the same data they were working with, but they came differently with per second billing. And they got a chunk of that market, right? When Etisalat was going to come, they saw that MTN was already dominating general market. Glo was dominating the per seconds market, you get it? They entered into the youth market. And that's where strategy comes. But they were all working with the same data. And that data was sort of more focused on psychography, demography, as well as geography. You understand? And that also will help you know where to situate a branch of that business. Where should you go to first? Because you have to go to the weak points, the weak areas. And going to the weak areas, they might have concentration. So you can also go to strong points, but when you're going, you have to be able to go into those strong points because you're going to compete with players, big players in that space.
That's what I was coming to now,
Yes,
because I feel, okay, it all depends on who are your players. Where are they playing? Are they before you? Did they come before you? If they came before you, what angles?
Yeah, and that is where data sort of plays an interesting. I mean, data now helps you to make informed decisions, because that data will tell you that, see, this brand or this product exists, is being consumed in this space, and when you are getting there, you will not run away from that space. You are just only going to look at, that's what we call the SWOT analysis. You understand? Which means strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. You understand? So you look at the strength of the big player in that space. You look at their weaknesses. You look at the opportunities available to you based on those weaknesses. And you look at the threats. Would you be stopped by the big player? Now, if there's no way a big player will be in a space and I have data and I will not know, they will not have a weak point. So when I'm coming to play in that same space, I will strike from that weak point. And it is what I was, the analogy that I gave about MTN, Etisalat, and Glo. You will see how they entered the market with different strategy, but they were playing that same space. Now, let me tell you what happened. People started using 3 SIMs. Because the mindset at that point, they forgot that it is no longer about SIM. They forgot that they were using SIMs, right? But they were not thinking about the value offering, the value propositions. Some people use MTN because they feel MTN has extensive coverage.
Yes.
The same person using that is using Glo because it's going to make calls cheaper. You understand? Then the same person using Etisalat is going to make midnight calls for free.
so he can actually just come. He wants to make a call to somebody.
They were switching the SIMs based on different offerings, because you see, three players came into the same space, right? And they are selling the same product to us, which is airtime, but differently. They are all leveraging on strengths and weaknesses, opportunities and threats
of each other,
using data, market data. And which is why when you're trying to create an idea, you're trying to create a product, you need to be able to use market to gain insights that will help you develop the product properly, will help you to develop an execution strategy that is clear and crispy. And most importantly, choose a niche that you want to focus on and see how well you can improve or offer improved product to that market. You get? So market data is important because it does not only provide you numbers, but it allows you to know how to further build your product, determine pricing, know where to go to first, and also know how to attack the market or how to enter the market.
Anyway, this is my blog. It is good. So you are coming from a climb, that is developed, that has all of this. You understand me? And said people develop an idea, and then from idea it goes further to research and the rest of them, and they are able to get what they are. So when they make an investment, it stands.
Yeah.
Except if something just happens out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
So what is actually working there that is not working here?
Well, the reality is that the government has put certain structures in place abroad, like setting up research and innovation centers, having grant allocations. And to be honest, I think Nigeria is beginning to really do well in that area, because I see a lot of programs, talent development programs, grants, innovation projects taking place now that is beginning to support human capital development and also begin to drive innovation. And the reality is that because of the fact that we have emerged into an era of digital transformation, the drive for digital entrepreneurship is on the high. And that is also beginning to create an opportunity area for the drive for digital talent development. And for us to be able to increase, or to drive prosperity, economic prosperity, and to empower the people, we need to be able to continue to develop talent. We need to set up centers where young people can, or anybody that has an idea, can research, can have access to the tools, the resources, and even the initial capital to be able to come up with stuff that can transform. I mean, disruptive ideas didn't just happen out of a whim. They were all product of research, experiment, testing, failing, and all of that. And I like to always use the Elon Musk idea of the rocket that he launched into Mars and all of that. He did not create that rocket the first day he thought about it. People invested in that rocket and he failed the first time. I think he failed the second time. But they never stopped until they got it right. Now, that investment is because the government has put a number of things in place. There are investors that are focused on those type of research and will put their money in. And I also think that investors, I know that we have not particularly institutionalized, the venture capital space where we can take early risk in in ideas from their very raw stages. But I think that investors and impact investors should begin to look at the bottom of the pyramid and put resources into fostering innovation and also engendering a community of disruptors that are willing to take on the risk of coming up with new product that will disrupt market and place the nation on the global map. If we don't enable it, it will not happen. It does not mean that there are no talent or people in the country thinking about disrupting things. There are people with marvel ideas, the great ideas that can put Nigeria on the map for a very long time. But one is the government investing in that space. Number two are philanthropists looking at supporting that space. I also understand that a lot of Nigerians are driven by that survival instinct first. But then there are also people who are willing to take on the risk of, defying the odds to be able to create something very maverick. And I know certainly that we are getting there. We are getting closer. I like what the Minister for Digital Innovation is doing. Is driving a 3 million, digital talent development, and that's very powerful. And I know from that alone, we are going to have people who will engender, great ideas and drive that real economic prosperity. But it's important for the government to be more holistic about its investment in research and innovation to support ideas at the bottom of the pyramid so that we can have something right on top of the pyramid.